Sathyanarayan Mundayoor, also known as Uncle Moosa. Yeah, so we have him sitting in front of me. Somebody is recording it. Okay, fine, no problem. And before we start our interaction, I'm not sure how many of you really know what Padma Shri is. Padma Shri is the fourth highest civilian award of the Republic of India. This is after the Bharat Ratna, the Padma Vibhushan and Padma Bhushan. And this is awarded, it started in 1954, and the award is conferred in recognition of distinguished contribution. So it's a distinguished contribution in various spheres of activity within India, including arts, education, industry, literature, science, acting, medicine, social service, and public affairs. It is awarded by the Government of India on every year on the Republic Day of India. Yeah. So I would like to welcome Uncle Ji over here.
Thank
you.
Please
welcome to KPIT and thanks a lot for the time. As said earlier, his name is Mr. Sathyanarayan Mundayoor, also known as Uncle Moosa or Uncle Sir. Yeah. And he's an educationalist and a social activist from India. He was born in Kerala and he has been working in Arunachal Pradesh for more than 40 years now. Am I right? 40 plus years. 40 plus years today. He received his Padma Shri in 2020 for his work in spreading education in Arunachal Pradesh. Currently, he is the coordinator at the Lohit Youth Library Network at Bambosa Library in Arunachal Pradesh. One of the most interesting facts about him, like most of the selfless social workers, is he quit his job. He had a good government job once upon a time, but he quit his government job to follow his passion about promoting education. And as he always says, and most of the time he says, to spread the joy of reading. Yeah, so this is what he does all the time, 24/7. We are really very honored to have you, sir, over here at KPIT and to talk to all of us today. And we would like to welcome you with the traditional Arunachal way of giving the gamcha, as they call it, yeah, the gamcha. So, Tushar, would you mind doing the honors, please?
Okay. Thank you, Tushar. Thank you, Raji. Oh, okay. Thank you so much.
So, I had been following you for a while, ever since Tushar asked me to be the interviewer for you on YouTube, as well as a lot of podcasts and so on, and Wikipedia as well. So, as we understand, you are the coordinator of the Lohit Library Network today. Can you briefly explain to us what's your role, what's your responsibility as the coordinator of the Lohit Library Network, and what's the vision mission of the network, please?
Thank you, Ranji, and very glad and very privileged to address all the members of the director board, as well as the very learned scientists and members of the staff of KPIT. We consider it a great pleasure and privilege that an organization or a group of individuals working in a remote corner of Arunachal has got this privilege to address such an elite audience in the nation's one of the most advanced educationally as well as scientifically advanced metro of India. Coming to the library, Lohit Youth Library Network. See, as you all are aware, the challenges of reading and reading empowerment and reading deprivation varies from rural area to urban area, rich and the poor. So these divides make any educated person feel sensitive that is there something can be done. So a group of members, group of enthusiasts, group of book lovers came together to start a movement and see what we all can do to promote the habit of reading or promote the joy of reading. joy because it is only through a joyful mood one can do things better. So this is how, since we have confined mainly, or we started mainly in the old Lohit Valley, which was one of the 5 districts or 5 regions of Arunachal, 5 rivers of Arunachal. So we have called it Lohit Youth Library Network. Today the district is a very small one, but that doesn't matter at all because it covers a large area of the Lohit Valley. That is our thing. And since it's, as you know, many of the rural area, the population is so scattered. So we need a group of people and someone to do the coordination work. So I am doing that part of the role, coordinating, connecting with the people and the readers or the to-be readers, and see how we can spread the habit of reading among rural and reading deprived communities.
All right. So when was this Lohit Library Network established? When was it founded, and are you the founding member?
As I said, in remote areas, especially like in Himalaya and Arunachal Pradesh, with population getting so scattered and education opportunities being not at all equal, there is a very, very, acute dearth of adequate support. So we have been feeling that we must do something, and the government, all that government can do is to set up schools. And of course, in Arunachal Pradesh, which is the old Nifa region, bordering the eastern Himalayas, bordering China, then the present Myanmar, and Assam, and also part of Nagaland. This is a very important area, and the challenges of reading or promoting education has been a very big one before the government of India. So they have set up a few government schools, also invited reputed organizations like the Ramakrishna Mission, the Sharda Mission for the girls' schools, and also the Vivekananda Kendra Kanyakumari, to run schools, residential schools. But these can only to a certain extent meet the needs of reading projects. So we need a community movement where large number of people can voluntarily come forward. So with this awareness, we started initially conducting small programs, awareness programs, book exhibition, reading sessions. So the whole process started right from 98. But as a network, as a movement, it crystallized only by 2007, when some of the educated and enlightened government officials and the leaders joined hands in the movement. So we came into being as a virtual entity only in 2007, but the work has been going on for the last 4 decades. The challenge of doing something for promoting reading.
Understood. So is it a private NGO or is it a government-owned organization?
It is neither an NGO nor a government-owned thing. It is just a collective hand-holding of interested people with NGOs, with government departments and leaders, anyone who can contribute to promote the reading habit and thereby the environment of better education in rural tribal areas like Arunachal Pradesh. We are of course confined to eastern Arunachal Pradesh because the state is a very big area.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
It has got 84,000 square kilometer. Wow. And the population around 14 or 15 lakhs today are highly scattered. So it's not possible for any organization, leave alone the government or anybody, to cover each and every corner of the state. So each group or each initiative should cover some area.
So no wonder it's called the library network, because without such a network, you cannot really connect the scattered dots within the hilly Arunachal areas.
Yes.
And I really envy some people who were probably inspired by you, because such a movement, and now there's a question, and I come back to that question again, why it's called a movement, but I kind of now realize why you people call it as a movement, because, but one thing is very certain, and I know your modesty might not approve it, but one thing is very certain, that you probably inspired a lot of volunteers around to build this network across these scattered hilly areas within Arunachal. I mean, if I may say so.
I wouldn't say that I inspired, because each one of us have some sort of interest in something, and all of us have a general feeling that education must improve in the country in different levels. And we all have been doing something to promote in our own limited areas, limited environment. So it may be within the family, in the neighborhood, a friend motivating.
Yeah.
So each one of us is that way and motivated. But then to individually doing motivational activities is one thing, bringing all them together is one thing, and that also cannot be one person, since it's a movement. It has to have so many links. So I would call the whole network or the whole reading movement as only like a conveyor belt. You can only see some part of the conveyor belt. You can't see whole of the conveyor belt at a time. And it's a continuous moving thing. The focus of our attention will be only one point of conveyor belt at a time. So sometimes some areas get highlighted. So maybe the whole, the nation's eye must have fallen on me, but there have been equally important contributions by so many others. Perhaps they too deserve the recognition, but since we are all hand-holding, it doesn't matter. It's not a personal recognition at all. It is for the movement. Yeah. Whatever the government has recognized, whatever the people, whatever the well-wishers, the patrons who have been large number of them associated, they all have realized, not because of any individual, but a number of people have come together with a common goal. So that is our strength, I would say.
Fantastic. So, I remember in the school days, the reading used to be one session in a week, allocated about half an hour or 45 minutes. A session for library session in our schools, but that was very much limited.
Yes.
And that time I'm talking about a place like Pune, which is the heart of education. Lots of universities, lots of schools and colleges out here in Pune. It certainly we can realize the kind of challenges you must have faced to set up such a network for such a long time period, considering the scatteredness in the hilly areas, less number of schools and so on. So the challenges that you have faced so far, can you highlight us a few top 3, 4, 5 challenges based on which our people can gather something and get inspired by you? So what are those top 3, 4 challenges that you faced and how did you overcome them?
See, intrinsically, everyone aspires for education, but to feel that education should manifest into some real concrete step forward, that requires a much more focused effort. Number 2, it's one thing to read for oneself, but it's quite another thing to see that someone who is less privileged or less reading empowered than us to share our concern or our support, extend the support. So the technology or the expertise for that requires something. So as such, any other benefit, medical care, the result is visible. You construct a road, the result is visible. You construct a bridge, you construct a house, a school building, it's a very visible thing. But you empower someone to read better. That is a very invisible thing, or a not so superficially thing. And it is not something which can be tangible, bring results. So anybody feels that, what can I do? I can't do anything, or it is the responsibility of somebody else. Obviously, education means we first say the schools or colleges. It's a concern of school or colleges. So to make people feel that, no, it's not only the concern of the government, it's not only the concern of the school or the college, but it is concern of each one of us to help each other or among one thing. So to cultivate that feeling, that is a very big challenge, number 1. Because in a remote or scattered population, you need large number of elements or activists. And it cannot be done by a handful of.
Understood.
So this is one of the biggest challenges. Number 2, the outcome of the activity, the value of the activity is again not tangible. Because when we say reading, most of the common people their image is reading means studying for textbooks. Studying textbook for examination. So when you say read, oh, you read well, you please do read nicely. Most of the parents or the common people feel that it's only the reading the textbook is important. So anything other than the textbook, they normally feel that could it be a distraction from studies, the so-called studies. So this mindset or lack of sensitivity on the part of parents is especially in areas where the literacy is low.
Understood.
Number 2. Number 3 is large parts of India, there are multilingual communities or multilingual regions where number of communities live together and all of them have their own languages, but they are never used with a script. So their communities do not have a script. In which case they borrow another language as the school language or form. So literacy is conducted in one language, but the community doesn't own up that language.
So what's the teaching language in Arunachal?
So this is a big challenge in remote areas like Arunachal, northeastern areas, even parts of Maharashtra, then Orissa, Chhattisgarh, all these. The local people's language may be something different from the state language. In Arunachal, this challenge is very active. Arunachal, from 1972, the official school language or the teaching language is English. With Hindi as another language. But there are 26 communities, almost all of them do not have a script. They are mutually unintelligible.
Wow.
They are very distinct. Their language, grammar, then the way of speaking, everything is different. So they have to, even within the community also, there are dialect, idiolect variations. Now, when two communities come together, obviously they have to use a lingua franca. Since all the northeastern states are part of Assam, the old British Assam, Assamese was the link language. For a long time, till government of India, after the Chinese war, Pakistan war, introduced Hindi and started promoting Hindi after 1972. So today, Hindi is a link language. Hindi is a lingua franca. People talk to each other, two communities, and when members of two communities marry, then the children do not have they have neither the mother's language or the father's language. So obviously they will start it. In such communities, English being a very different language for the parents, they will be totally unempowered. They won't be able to help them. So they obviously think that it's a school's responsibility. What can I do? So for them, school is a thing, and school means classroom teaching. School, and you have mentioned about that half an hour thing. Reading is not to be a sort of a tutored or monitored thing. Reading is you connect yourself with the thought movement through a book. Book is only a medium. For that, you need its own atmosphere, its own thing, and reader and the book transform themselves into a separate world. So that requires more time. And if it should be attractive, it should be a joyful reading. So we realize that creating a joyful reading is one of the other challenges. And this cannot be done in the classroom. So we have to create artificial, outside the classroom, little environments in which the interested readers can come together, attract. For that, there will be some mentors, some volunteers, some activists. They create activities, they come together, and then there will be a apparently joyful environment will be there. So they will feel like reading. Creating joy is not the end of the program. It is only a medium, or it's only a starting point. A person or a young reader or a to-be reader gets enthusiastic about a book. The child gets, or the young person gets enthusiastic. Then he will take one more step. Then later on he will feel that I don't need someone to create a joyful environment. I know how to connect with the book. So this is how reading promotes. This is again a very intangible thing. So parents or the society cannot think. And since it is an intangible, neither the government nor the school nor the parents can think. So it is only activists who can make a change. This is
passionate activist.
passionate. Building up a team or collection of a team, bringing together, that takes time. So that is why I said it takes time to build a reading movement.
So I think what I gather is a lot of patience is what has helped you to reach at this juncture today after what 40 years of
Yes.
the struggle, if I may say so. So sir, you were born in Kerala, but you are working in Arunachal. Yeah. Uh, where it all started? Why Arunachal?
I don't think that is much of an issue in India because you have found people from all corners of India working in all other corners. Even your own employees, there must be quite a lot of people from all over. Maybe there may be quite a few, maybe even working from Arunachal or Northeast also. If not Arunachal, the Northeast state, Northeastern state. So it is. I would consider only it's an incidental thing. And
but in your case, what's this?
Go one more step ahead. I will consider it something like a destiny propels you to some of your.
Okay.
Of course, though I am from Kerala, but I have never been living there. A very short time I have lived there. But the decision to go to Arunachal or the attraction of the thought came to Arunachal from Mumbai. I was living in Mumbai. From there only thing. And even this also I would say, it is an environment of reading during which I grew up. In the 1950s and 60s, India was the best time for reading, I would consider. Because everywhere there was the stress on reading and little libraries, rural libraries. And these libraries were not just buildings or collection of books, they were institutions by themselves, perhaps better than a school. Okay. And there were platforms, there were discussions, in that discussion, debates, new ideas came to the young people. There was equal sharing of thoughts between different age groups. And from that, out of that, poetry came out, literature came out, then theatre came out. India has a very strong pre-independence to post-independent theatre movement. In Maharashtra it is there, in Bengal it's there, in Kerala it's there. And these theatre movements brought new ideas to the people.
Okay.
But to power the theatre movement, it was the reading, it was the literature.
It's the books here.
Yes. So the books stimulated people to create. If anyone cannot read directly everything, let's create a theatre, let's a drama, a poem, a very moving poem, transform people, attracts people. So they must have used different media, some through humor, some through anger, some through social crisis. These feelings or the Navarasas were portrayed through poetry, literature, theatre, and people enjoyed whatever they liked. So this was the time. So obviously, a person like me will definitely be influenced by reading. So when I got an opportunity to go to Arunachal, I didn't know anything about it, but it came to me naturally. I found that there's a need for activists to support the Arunachali youth to get educated. I found it's a very attractive thing. Why not I go and see what is the adventure of imparting the joy of reading, which I have been partnering. So I felt that if I have got something because of my reading, shall I not give a little to others? It's a very small thing what I felt. Let's come on, let's go and see.
Your destiny.
Yes. So probably destiny directed me over there. Otherwise, there was no. I didn't have any knowledge about Arunachal except that we knew that 1962 war when we were through, we heard about NIFA, but nothing more than that. So that was the thing.
So the Lohit Library Network, which is a movement, as you call it, has it gone beyond Arunachal or is it restricted to Arunachal only?
No. But from the very beginning, we worked on the philosophy that only deinstitutionalized type of work can help people. If institutions have its own structure, to maintain structure, a lot of energies and resources have to be utilized. In the process, very often the human development gets sidelined, or it doesn't get that much important. So when you want a movement, the most important is a human component. So it requires tremendous focus on the human thing and not our attention to get diverted to building up institutions. So in a youth library network, we realized that building up library is not our objective. How the libraries can serve the people, how the libraries can attract people, what are the activities, and who will be the activists. That was important. Building up a team of activists was the first priority. So since I fully believe that a deinstitutionalized type of work only will succeed in not only in a remote area like Arunachal, but even in many other areas, even cities, many NGOs have proved that, deinstitutionalized type of work is better. In Gujarat, the Swadhyaya movement, Pandurang Shastri just demonstrated that. He didn't build up a registered NGO or anything. He created a movement. And so many people got inspired right from the seashore to the interior. So Varghese Kurian mobilized the people. He told them, you form your own societies. He didn't form any society himself.
Okay.
So when people decide to do something, they can do. And small collectives are always more powerful because you know each other. You trust each other. And you believe that other person's trust, respect, confidence is very important for my thing. So I must be as honest and upright and supporting to him. Here is teamwork. So when a teamwork is successful, any movement will become. And for that, you don't have to build a big thing. So what we are trying to do, or we have been trying to do, is we have a limited area. We found that we are able to build things. So we focus on that, and we have set it up as a last 15 years of this network and last 40 years of thing. More or less, we have been working. 40 years, of course, I have been working throughout Arunachal. But last 15 years, it has been focused in the Lohit Valley, which consists of 5 districts.
Okay.
But even there are pockets which are not been able to get as much attention. Obviously, physical limitation. So this is only a model. It doesn't have to be exactly copied by somebody else. And nor are we responsible for creating everywhere this thing. We have only set up a model. We found that certain strengths are there, certain difficulties are there. So others can see, if they feel that in their area a similar initiative is required, it is up to them how to solve it. We are not here to bring solutions to everybody. We have done a group of us who feel we are mutually dependent and we are supporting each other. So we felt that we will try to do something in our area. And we are quite happy with that, because here itself a lot of work there. Because in human development or in education development, it's not a question of getting a degree. It's not a question of just becoming literate. For literacy purpose, National Literacy Mission, just writing one's own name and signing is sufficient. But that, in reading empowerment, that doesn't make anything. It has to transform a person's life, because reading itself is not an end. It is only by reading give me new ideas. Can it help me to revive my life into thing? Can I bring it to thing? Can it economically empower me? Not because of a degree, but because I develop skills. For example, you have heard about the hole in the wall, where the slum children were, first time when the computer came, a scientist, IIM scientist, cut a hole in the wall into the slum and kept a computer and a mouse there, and allowed the children. Once the children felt that nobody will scold them, because computer is such a delicate thing, they were always afraid. No, don't touch, don't touch. That was not there. The hole in the wall experiment was that, and within a few months, that scientists found that large number of slum children have learned to operate a computer by themselves, because they had the confidence. So this is self-empowerment. He didn't teach them how to move the thing, how to use the thing, how to open a file. It is said that they have learned even to do internet activities, all by curiosity. So if we can develop that curiosity in a community or in a group of individuals, and that anybody can get. You don't need a Lohit library movement to anybody can replicate it. And only thing they have advantage is that our difficulties, our problems, our happiness can be lessons for them. They can develop their own suitable thing. So I don't believe that we have to go reach out anywhere. We must try to, because when a community grows, more number of people are there, even in the same age. When in your own home, children grow up, then their grandchildren come, then you have to worry about their grandfather. He steps in the role of a grandfather, then he thinks himself as a grandfather taking care of grandchildren, then great grandchildren.
Yeah.
So we are in the same house, but similarly, in a movement, you don't have to go all over a particular area. You can do it if you like. So that's the thing. And even in remaining in one place also, once the cause is very noble and a sincere effort is there, by itself, like a
Passion
flower.
is infectious.
Yes.
The passion is infectious.
Flower attracts honeybees.
Yeah.
Good people will come around and they will learn lessons. They may replicate it wherever they like.
I mean, that's very much our objective to invite you here at KPIT and talk to all our guys out here. So that even if we can gather a bit of the passion and get it a bit infectious, I mean, we would love to help the society in some or the other way. If not reading, somebody might have some other passions.
Yes.
But like you said, reading is the beginning.
Yes.
And I would like to quote a dear friend of mine, Anup Sagri, who is also the CTO of the organization.
Okay.
27 years we have been working together over here. He always says that knowledge without creativity is useless.
Yes.
Creativity without implementation is useless.
Yes.
And implementation without feedback is useless.
Correct.
So even if we kindle the thought of start the reading, the rest will hopefully will anyway happen
Yes.
eventually. So life do teach us a lot. Yeah, and you have gone through such a lot of variety of experiences so far, and a lot of bruises, I'm sure. It had been a roller coaster ride for you. There's always a before and an after learnings.
Yeah.
So what is Uncle Moosa's learnings, having done all this great work for last 40 years?
I have understood that love is a great force.
Wow.
And it's very easy to give love to children because they reciprocate and they give a return to you in abundance, much more than what you can give. And that builds movement. And this love, which is given vis-a-vis against the learning which or the teaching which we do it in the classroom, the two are very different. And that will be forgotten maybe after the examination for a couple of years. But the love with which we have mentored or we have cared for a young person, or anybody for that matter, even an old person. Yeah. Old person is also equally like a young person. That takes us much forward. Years later, the young child grows up into a responsible citizen. In that, he would remember that, I received a lot of abundant love. And a person who receives abundant love will tend to become a good human being and good citizen. Who would contribute? He need not contribute in reading. He may contribute as a technocrat. He may become socially conscious that the industry in which I am working can make a great contribution to the deprived people. So you have the ideas. I am very glad that KPIT is giving a lot of importance to the staff members contributing something for the society personally, as well as an organization as CSR. CSR, of course, maybe you can say that it may be a governmental order, but when an organization says that every employee can contribute something to the community of their own heart feeling, I think that's a beautiful thing. That is because of the love. It's not because of an order, not because the managing director issued an order a person will be able to give. So I think
that's a very fantastic. I would like to, I don't know how many managers and leaders are here on the call, but this is something that I would ask and urge all the managers on the call. And of course, this call is recorded, so many people could view this again.
Yes.
So my request to all the managers on the call is, do remember about this, share love and people will, so don't give orders, give love is something that I would want all our managers to behave in a certain way, and then we can create this self-empowered movement within this organization as well.
Yes. We can see examples also, not only with children. See, I can tell you from Arunachal, my limited area of experiences, when a deputy commissioner, that is a collector, who really cares for people and the staff, and who gives always a patient hearing and tries to help out. When that person goes on transfer,
Yeah,
All the employees weep. I've
True,
seen that.
true.
And when police normally we fear the police superintendent of police is something like such a high post and IPS officer. But when the IPS officer in one of the districts, the district superintendent of police was transferred, all the staff and the people dragged his vehicle up to the at the end of the town where he has to live. Said no, they didn't allow him to drive the way. The driver said we will drag the vehicle. So with love, and they were weeping. We have seen that. So it doesn't have to be only children. That love
is such a fantastic thing you're talking about. Like 40 years, the learning is share love and everything else is autonomous.
Yes.
Yeah?
And what I have been getting is exactly that.
Yeah, that's my next question, which follows through anyway. Is the uncle in the Moosa because of all this love?
Yes, I definitely say. Because a teacher has a limited image. A teacher is someone who is confined or considered to be confined to a classroom, though the contribution can be there. But when I went to Arunachal, I realized that to be a school teacher is not the right way to impact the minds. So it should be something of more of a family member. And in a remote area, rural area, when I went, it was a very remote rural area. There were no electricity, there were no facilities like a TV, there was nothing. So only we used to manage with the kerosene lantern and this thing. And the children are supposed to stay whole day and night for 10 months. They are from remote areas.
Okay.
They can't go home every 2 months vacation. I mean, they can't go at all. They have to stay 10 months. Some of their parents could never come also to see them during the 10 months. They were from remote area. So when a child or a group of children stay in 10 months in a school,
away from parents,
a teacher is not the person who would make an impact on them. Someone who is very close to them like a family member. We have the responsibility. Of course, the teachers must have been doing that role as a parent. But they should also feel that it's not the teacher who is doing, someone of their. So I felt that activities which would make them feel that he is one of us. So that should be the target of in a residential school. Residential school, this is a thing very important. Even grown-ups also. Grown-ups, not only, even residential hostels. In such area, such environment, there won't be any cases of ragging in a university. If the warden or the superintendent is so caring and concerned and also strict at the same time,
of course,
there will be no need for ragging, because when you know each other, you won't drag your child, obviously not. So such things won't happen. So this is what I've learned. So that is why I thought that I am not going to get the image of a teacher. I would be something like an uncle.
Yeah, certainly. So one of the ideas I am getting, and I would certainly seriously suggest it to our head of HR, that instead of we calling each other as managers, we should start calling each other as uncles, because I think there will be more love between and much better teamwork within us all in the corporate sector. Uncle, you have extensively worked on improving reading as well. So any tips you want to give to our people out here on how to improve? What guidance would you give, and how reading helps? How can I improve the reading? What specific benefits should we look for from reading?
Yeah, as we all know that reading makes a deep impact on the mind. Now the basic what is most important thing is reading to make an impact on our mind. The reading should inspire or motivate or stimulate. A book or a thought which stimulates makes us better. So ultimately the choice of what to read depends on the person and his own interest, her own interest. But it is always good to identify one's own areas of interest and try to read those. Or vice versa, books in different subjects should have this angle. An author or a good author should have always an interesting way of presenting a book. For example, now since you are all managers and this Parkinson and who was the other one, I forgot. He wrote Business is People. one of the finest book which National Productivity Council had brought out in 1960s. Northcote Parkinson, and who was the other author, I forgot.
Okay.
So it is through only cartoons.
Okay.
But a number of messages why you are in business, people are the most important. The human management is one of the finest books. It could be read by a schoolboy as well as by a manager, HR manager or the industrial manager. Books like this makes people think that that's much more than doing just one's own work. This Businesses People is one of my favorite books, which gives a lot of happiness. Similarly, other books like Parkinson's Law, Peter's Principles, and so many other things make us laugh. And when we do our work, we start laughing, and that creates introspection.
True.
How am I doing? And then Muriel James, this transactional analysis that has made another most important impact on everybody's life, right from the industrial sector to the officers, today teachers, even parents have been talking about transactional analysis.
Yeah.
Yes. So these books really stimulate, and then other books, similar books. Then many other entrepreneurship books have come. So many areas. So ultimately, it goes to one's own interest. So if one can identify one's own interest, try to pursue, it can definitely help. This is one way of how we can, and that will make an impact on our mind. Our performance will improve.
Yeah.
Our interaction with people will do. The joy which we will feel will radiate among our colleagues, our staff, and then a good feelings like there are some reading deprived. Why not I do something for those people? They need not be children. They need not be slum children. It can be even in our own factory. There's someone who doesn't know and has been struggling about reading. So because many of them, English being the most major language in which we acquire knowledge through technology or other things. Entire computer science is totally in English. Very little is coming our own native languages. So obviously, every person has to have a proficiency in English language. So within the organization also, if we create a very reader-friendly environment, definitely the staff members can read better. And they can support each other. One who is very good in a particular language skill can help. That's why today managers are also taught English language. Engineering colleges, there are courses and running.
And it will also unknowingly spread the love as well as can inculcate a lot of teamwork and bonding within people. And that's something that we are in the people business. Our chairman always says, Chairman Ravi Pandit sir, he always says that we are in the people business.
Yes.
So though we are technocrats and managers, the underlying fact is we are people, and starting some reading activities within the organization can probably help us improve the team building as well.
Already you must be having small readers, staff club, and where books are brought, magazine. There used to be in 60s and 70s. I remember almost every office had a staff club, and then a lot of magazines used to come. And there were circulating libraries. Their offices used to have their own libraries where the thing. So such things will definitely help. And
unfortunately, this COVID thing and working from home has really built in a bit of disturbance in that, but it will get back soon.
But we also have other sources now. Technology has come in a big way. We have podcasts and YouTube. It has a great support, so we can share each other.
Actually, MS Teams, for example, like we are connected with at least 100 plus people now.
Yes.
So at least 100 plus people are watching us.
That itself is the technology.
Basically. So we can certainly leverage on what technologies we have at the moment.
Yes.
So, Uncle ji, as you already know that we are a technology company. We are worldwide. We have got lots and lots of young and enthusiastic people, 10,000 of us today. Who are also aware, we understand the corporate as well as individual social responsibilities. Lot of us are inspired by Tushar and his team to get into being socially responsible, being an activist ourselves, and contribute in little and big way into the social causes. How can our people contribute to your movement? How can we support your movement?
You have asked a very important question, and it's a very relevant, pertinent question to today's situation, especially after the post-COVID, the way I think. But it's not my movement; it is our movement. Because the problem of reading or the reading challenge is not confined to a corner of Arunachal or even Northeast or anything. It's the whole of India's problem. So one doesn't have to think that we have to go and support somebody who is in a remote area and about whom we do not know other than what is spoken or read in anything. Technocrats and IT experts have a very major role today in improving the educational scenario of India. Some levels, different agencies have started. For example, Pratham has created a beautiful story weaver the platform.
And they also have some free website.
Exactly. That is called Story Weaver.
Story Weaver. Okay.
Hundreds of books are being uploaded, and they can be downloaded. They can be translated in different languages, and they can be uploaded. Now, this is a very major thing where we require large number of volunteers, people to work. This is only in one platform, Pratham's books. But there are many other books which are not accessible, and because they are not accessible, reading gets a major challenge before the rural or reading deprived communities. Google in between started a very beautiful thing called Bolo. That was, if you there's an app, you download that, and if you the words will come. And we have to repeat after that.
Okay.
And after that, if you don't correctly repeat, then they say, Boliye, dubara bolo.
Okay.
I said, then the correct. So where teachers are not sufficiently qualified, say in English language, they did it in two languages, English and Hindi. Now where English is not proficient, say like in a Mofussil area or in slum area, the machine comes to help, because without the support of an external teacher who may be a tuition master or anything, a machine or app helps the children to private or children or the parents. It can help in adult education. I don't know what happened later on with that. Bolo, but I don't know whether it is still there. But they launched a free app for a year back when it was there. So, but this has to be replicated in many other ways. This is one example. I told Pratham is another example. There are a large number of areas where IT technology, this IoT, Internet of Things, can be, I do not know because I'm a layman, but education can support in a very, can be supported in a very big way across the country by intervention of committed, technocrats and expert engineers with a passion for serving. This passion for our saving, our feeling for our brethren, our feeling for the nation's progress, educate, self-reliance. Why should we depend on an American act called Bolo? Why not we produce our own way? So that which can be, or even a simplified version of that. Or can we share in our own local communities? Everybody may not have a mobile, or 4 children may not have equal access to a parent's mobile. In which can we have some community TV program, in which education TV. Now we see all sundry TV programs on the TV, nothing useful to the education. But can we, in our own little ways, like what is something called closed circuit TV or closed programs, what you provide for your own staff, why not we do something with the community, neighborhood? This sort of way it can be thought about.
Certainly.
So one very good thing which is very relevant in this is happening in Pune. A very renowned person named Arvind Gupta, who is an expert on popular science, and he has been awarded by the government of India, the first scientist to be awarded the National Award for Popularizing Science. He is also a Padma Shri Awardee. Arvind Gupta, he stays in Pune. He has been doing a wonderful thing. There are many books who are out of print, rare books. In different languages. For say, Russian books, American books are too costly, we think. British books, old books, out of print books. What he does is, he does create PDFs. And converts into e-books, and he throws it open for anybody to download. So his target is Every day one book he converts, one
Wow.
rare book from any language. He may not be able to read them.
Okay.
So
So
he
convert into PDF.
PDF
Okay, not-
and,
not-
and
okay.
give it free and access.
Understood.
He releases it for free. So those he has got a large number of well-wishers and followers. They benefit, they pass it on to others. He says, and he has also a website called arvindguptatoys.com.
Okay.
Now he's doing a one-man thing. Every day, that means 365 books. He has uploaded hundreds of books which are not available to common, only one man. If so many engineers join hands with him, his work will be much better. He's the thing. He has not only done English, he has also translated those English books into Hindi and uploaded.
Okay.
That is another thing. Now he would like the translations to be done in many other languages. We have not touched the minor languages or the languages where the scripts are just being adopted.
Okay.
Such languages also reading material is required. So maybe some of the, because we are in Pune only, just neighborhood. So maybe a person like Arvind Gupta can be supported. I'm just giving an example.
Of course.
So that similar things can be done by many other groups, either in the same way or anything, helping him or the cause. I mean, not personally him, but the cause. But definitely the thing. And all these are free.
Okay.
His entire website, he says, please share with whoever wants benefit. And he develops a lot of low cost and no cost teaching aids. There are scientific experiments he has converted into YouTubes, he uploads. All of us, as a passion, we can do. There's an institution by under, I think, Pune University, Ayuka has been doing something.
Scientists were working with the same content.
Yeah. So Arvind was also part of that. But now he has come out of retired and he's doing it. He's doing it just as a hobby. But he is very focused. I met him 2 days back.
Okay.
He said my now target is every day one book.
Wow.
Every day one book which is not accessible anywhere. And people give him, Arvindji, please, and this book is out of print. I have got a copy from, sometimes only a photocopy.
Yeah.
But
so the minimum our people can certainly do is meet Arvindji and give one book which they have appreciated.
That's a small
lots
thing.
of
More than
ideas.
burdening him, they can be replicated. He is not doing something very secretly. He is doing similar awards. Even the company engineers, whoever is free in some time, once in 1 hour in a week, or 1 hour in 2 hours in a week, or anything. Sometimes they can, a couple of people together can upload a book in 1 day.
Of course.
So this can be replicated.
It certainly can. Thank you so much for all these ideas. I'm sure people must have picked them up, most of it. Lots of people, even in my team, there are a couple of guys who use this open source technology to create some games and all.
Okay.
And so on. So certainly we are, technology is at our fingertips at the moment, and it's really very, very easily accessible.
Yes.
A lot of passionate people, enthusiastic, young as well as old. So thank you so much for enlightening us, giving us time today.
Questions would be.
Do they have? Okay. So hello everybody on the call. We do have time for a few more questions for Uncle Ji. If anybody has any question.
Unmute yourself and
if you can unmute yourself.
switch on camera.
And also switch on your camera, please. That will help us. Any questions, anybody?
Sir, this is Aruna from Bangalore. I don't have any questions, but the tips you have shared here are really, really helpful. As part of e-Vidya Loka started by KPIT, I just started giving some teaching assistance to one of the rural students. And all the tips that you have given were really, really helpful, because I'm also little confused when I started. And it's really enlightening. Thank you, sir.
Great, Aruna. Thank you, Aruna. It's very nice.
Very good. Anybody else want to say anything?
Yeah, sir, Namaskar. There's Santranjan here from KPIT. It was my honor to listen to your golden words today, and I think most of the employees and our fellows must have enlightened themselves, and it gives a direction. Okay, this is one of the also in parallel or absolutely this one of the path a person can follow throughout the career instead. So because we have been connected with many programs at KPIT for students and like KPIT Sparkle and promoting innovation. So there may be questions from the student fellows and our innovators that if somebody want to join after completion of the education or means or he want to join this kind of movement as a part of his or her career to just for serving the people and promoting education, what are the different ways means you would like to suggest and message to the youngsters basically which may be very useful in the coming days, sir?
Vacation is a very good time where young people, those who are students, those who have just passed thing, or your holidays sort of thing. This can be utilized in any way what one can, one's heart says. One can go by one's heart. That's the best way to connect up. And one cannot prescribe, what somebody should do. It should go from the heart, and you don't have to travel also far to Arunachal or to Kashmir or Nagaland or anywhere. Andamans. No, not at all required. Wherever they are. But if somebody has a passion for traveling, there's nothing like it. Wonderful. It's very good. But we shouldn't consider traveling as a prerequisite for anything. One should connect to a meaningful activity, what one feels is relevant to one's life. So that can be in a small way, 1 hour a day, 1 hour a week, or a half a day on a weekend. It depends on how much time and energy needed to be channelized, or collecting together, organizing programs, empowering people into a happening. Then just for sharing the witty parts of reading. I mean, it can be of different area. Popular science, as Arvind Gupta has been already doing. Then many other areas, environmental activism. There are ample scopes are there, but no one can prescribe, what somebody should do. It should go one's heart.
Certainly. So, coming towards the end of the session, rather I would say the beginning of the enlightenment. I've been watching some of your YouTube videos and also going through some of the blogs. So reading will help us. Plus, I've been taking some notes while you were speaking. Yeah. So we certainly gather that reading will help us stimulate, motivate, help introspect,
yes,
be creative, discover talent,
yes,
certainly develop knowledge and skill, get entertained, release stress,
yes,
and most importantly, learn.
Yes.
Yeah? I would like to end this session before I thank you with the two philosophies of the Lohit Library Network, which I read in some of your literature. If people can't go to the books, books can go to people.
Yes.
Yeah, that's a very fantastic thought, and certainly very relevant into the rural scattered areas of Arunachal, for example.
And many other parts of
also,
yeah,
certainly.
yeah.
So and the second philosophy of Lohit Library Network is one individual can train at least 5 others to enjoy reading.
Yes. Yes.
I think if we start this chain reaction,
yes,
that's something great. And the best part that it's a takeaway for me from this session is the whole thing is all about love. So if you do it really with love, I think we can move mountains. So thank you again on behalf of KPIT. Thanks to Sharon CSR team for arranging this. Thanks for allowing me to be the interviewer. And again, one last thing I would like to share to everybody is, like I got a chance to talk to such a great person today. There can be other people who want to conduct such sessions. Do drop a mail to Tushar Juvekar and the CSR team, and they certainly will align you to one of such sessions. So it is really inspiring to sit in front of Padma Shri, and really honored, and thank you CSR team for setting this up for all of us. And Uncle Moosa, thanks again for being with us and giving us your precious time today. Thank you so much on behalf of KPIT.
Thank you very much, everyone, especially the KPIT management or the esteemed directors, as well as the officers and the other scientists who have been watching. And yes, also, thank you very much. It's been great pleasure talking and discussing with you and sharing whatever little I felt and the message of Arunachal Pradesh and the people of Arunachal Pradesh. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, everybody, and have a good evening. Bye-bye.